Hey there, everybody. It's Magnum Pi. I'm here with Teku, Golgotha, Vahilo, and Dark Templar, and we are Initiative Zero. This is Rifts, and we're going to jump back into it. Thanks for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do. We just keep growing and growing, and we're so happy about it. Join us on our Discord. We're growing there, too. We're building up a nice little community of people. We'd love to hear from you there. Love to hear from you in the comments down below. Love to hear from you on Twitter. I think we're even now on Facebook. I've got something there now. We're all over the place, and we'd love to have you tag along with us. So, how are you guys doing?
Oh, good. Weather sucks, but other than that, it's fine.
I have to finish my shout out to the Discord from last week, actually.
Oh, that's right.
Everybody on there. Yeah, everybody on there was really excellent for validating my psionic choices. I didn't even say a word about it. It just came up conversationally. So, if anyone's looking for apparently a really helpful crew of people that have differing degrees of knowledgeability, but an eagerness to help each other out, I mean, our Discord's in the link is below. So, have a look. So,
feel free to hang out with us. That's where we're going to look when we have our next side adventure for people that want to play with us. We're going to look there first for players. We don't know when that's going to be, but we're planning it now. So, yeah. Vahilo, DT, you guys doing all right?
I was just going to say I agree with Golgotha in talking about, the weather outside being frightful. It's just taking a lot more time to get to work these days.
Well, the perils of Canada, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And DT, you doing all right?
Fuck this snow. My goodness. I had to shovel a foot of fucking snow. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it sucks.
And my entire driveway. That was fucking crazy. And then it turned into fucking ice by the end of the day. Holy shit. Fuck this weather. Anyways,
you got
great besides that.
Okay. You get a fairly decent sized driveway too.
Yeah. Fuck this snow.
All right. And Teku, for those of our listeners who don't realize this, Canada is not all snow and ice. Teku, how's the weather down there?
Wet. And I expect in probably about 48 hours from what you're describing, I'll be dealing with whatever residual weather system that is.
Wasn't it 19 where you are today?
I don't want to talk about it because it's going to upset everybody else.
Fuck you.
Yeah, nobody likes you. Nobody likes you.
I mean, I'm not going to say eat shit bum, but I mean, eat shit bum.
With that, we'll imagine that we're not trapped in the snow. It's in October in a different time in southern Ontario in a few centuries in the future. It's not snowing there yet, but it might. You guys came out of the woods because you ran into some exploding rhino buffaloes. You lost your armor. You made your way back to town. And when you got back to town, there was, it's not really a town, right? It's just this outpost. Maybe 30 people live here. You could hear laughter and cheerful shrieks and the murmuring of people talking. Much different than the somber mood you left the town in as they were mourning the loss of Gordo. A traveling show seems to have stopped here, and they're setting up. You can see a number of different carts, wagons, and the like. There's a very large robot that is a robot vehicle that is seems to be setting up a tent post, and two 11-foot tall Samson power armor are also lifting some heavy crates and things like that to help set up.
We show up having the shit freshly kicked out of us. That's great.
Well, you're not that bad. The only one of you that's really injured is Portland right now, and he's just, again, it's SDC damage. It's not brutally terrible.
Little singed.
Yeah, but it's not, you're not that bad.
The fact that we're walking back with no armor at all. Well, I've got my armor on. It's just a little worse for wear.
Yeah, it's a little worse for wear. Sure.
All right. Well, let's.
Yeah. So
let's mingle.
Yeah. There's a lot of people kind of standing around watching them set up as they come in. So
I'm going to walk over to somebody and ask, hey, what's going on?
Show just arrived a few hours ago. They're setting up. Really, I think it's kind of the brief hint of relief that we need right now. just had to put Gordo in the ground, right? So
Yeah. Where did they come from? Did they say?
the boss just went over to talk in the lodge there with the men in the town, making sure it was all right for them to set up. At first they didn't want them because of the thing, but then it was decided on that the town could use some cheering. So apparently they got quite the setup. Games of chance, freak show.
No,
And,
so.
and some goods too. We could use
Do
a
they have any magic?
resupply.
Do they have any magic dogs?
I don't know what they got.
Yeah. What do they have? Armor?
I want to stay off to the side so that the people from this traveling circus don't see me.
Yeah, sure. You kind of hang back, and yes, as you survey what's going on in front of you, the show has a very interesting mixture of vehicles. They've got this robot vehicle that stands about 20 feet tall, and then they've got these 2 suits of power armor about half the size that are unloading a number of different vehicles. A third of them are horse-drawn wagons, a third of them are trucks and sort of motorhome trailers, and the remaining third are old hover trucks that are attached to trailers that actually have wheels and stuff like that. So they are it's just a collection of vehicles of whatever they happen to have picked up along the way and repaired. A mishmash of different parts that have, if a door got damaged, it's some other vehicle's door that's on there doesn't necessarily even fit properly. Bondo is one of the colors, that sort of thing. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. A number of different DBs and humans are busy kind of working around setting up tents and kind of setting down the hover vehicles and the like.
I would like to rest up, fellas, and lick my wounds, as they as some may say.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go lay down now.
All right.
Yeah. I'm all out of brain juice, so I should probably go do that too.
You guys, do that. I'm just gonna kick around here a little bit, but I'm probably gonna take a bit of a nap later on.
All right. So
I want to kind of spy on this group, just kind of see if there's any anybody that would be kind of. I want to try and get a vibe as to whether or not they'd be friends with the coalition or kind of against the coalition.
okay, cool.
I basically want to know if they're people that are going to rat me out or not.
All right. Before you do that, and before the rest of you guys walk off, I need each of you to give me a perception roll. I just want to see if you notice something.
Perception.
I'm going to assume that I noticed it.
Oh, I think I probably noticed.
All right. So, unfortunately, Portland only gets to roll once, but we'll take the first one. So all of you except
rolled this first time.
that's okay. All of you except for Senate, you have the. You notice that that once you guys arrive and stand there, the 2 Samson power armor, they look over at you. Well, they kind of stop in mid lift and turn their heads and look over at you, and they pause for a good long time, and kind of look back at each other, and then continue to unload. You have this sort of feeling of, it's like a sensation, and of course you notice that they looked at you, but it's also this sensation of being watched, right? Like you have, like you're even when they're not looking at you, you kind of get that sensation. So that's kind of where you are before you guys, or what you know, at least before you take off. Lex, how are you trying to spy on these guys?
Well, like I kind of said before that I want to, maybe just kind of, instead of being on the main street, between all the houses and buildings, just kind of like going in the back of them and then just kind of walking between buildings, kind of taking a peek around, and then going around the back of that building. And I basically just want to see if there's people in this party that are friends to the coalition or whatever, like other non-humans
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's definitely other non-humans, right? There's definitely DBs that are part of this group. If you give me a prowl check, that will be enough to demonstrate how stealthy you are.
okay.
Yep. So you manage to keep to the shadows and behind intervening objects and the like. You try to kind of go a full circumference around the show, or
No, I think just kind of the like on the backside up until I get to the Trappers Inn where my kind of room is, and then I'll go up in there into my room.
Okay. Yeah, and even as you're sneaking along, you still have that sensation of being watched.
Okay. Am I out of view of this power armor?
Yeah. When you have the intervening buildings and things like that, when you don't, obviously you're in view. They're not necessarily watching you, but you still feel like you're being watched that whole time.
I'm gonna wander around as well. I'm not gonna, necessarily spy, but I'm trying to take in what's going on and get a kind of a lay of what's happening and who these people are and what they're about.
All right, still armored up in your very obviously damaged armor with chunks of shrapnel sticking out of it and things like that.
Yeah. I think that looks good. I think.
All right. People kind of stop you as you're walking around, and they're looking at you. They're like, "What happened to you, Cyber Knight?"
Rhino buffalo, or it blew up. Actually, both of them blew up.
They kind of look at you sideways. They're like,
they were robots.
They were what?
Robots, apparently.
And they kind of look over at the robot vehicle that's kind of driving the center tent post into the ground. Like that thing?
Not like that thing. Like rhino buffalo. They look like rhino buffalo. They even talked.
Like your dog.
By coincidence, yes, very much like Lex.
Huh. Hey, Sally, guess what? Magic dog's not magic. It's a robot.
No. That's not. No,
Ruined it.
Man,
can't leave you alone.
That's not what I was going for. Oh well.
Yeah.
I'm sure that won't bite us in the ass later on. Anyways, moving on.
All right. So, moving on where? What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to see if I can find a person who looks like he's in charge. I think somebody said that he was in the building, like the main building.
That is what somebody said. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to wander over there.
Okay, you go in. The mood is significantly more lively in there, but there's not as many people in there as before. But there are people kind of abuzz with the new arrivals. You don't see anybody new. These are just the regular town folk that are in here that you're familiar with. They're all kind of humming and talking, and apparently the dog's a robot. Just, things like that.
No, it's not. Anyways, I'm going to wander over to one of the people I know, and ask, so the person in charge, did you see where he ended up?
He went back to the setup over there.
Oh, okay.
Scary looking guy.
Scary? What do you mean?
Yeah. Bionic eye, bionic arms. Probably a headhunter. All right. Well, yeah, he was in here, had a bowl of stew, and thanked us for letting him set up shop. Said he'd make sure that they didn't cause any trouble, and they cleaned up after themselves and tried to lighten the mood. He was very sorry about Gordo.
We all are, and we're gonna do what we can.
Yeah, scary looking guy, but seemed nice.
Well, that's good. Anyways, thank you very much. I'll go see if I can find him.
All right. So you head over, wandering toward the setup there, and as you approach, two security guys, they're wearing They've got kind of like cowboy hats sort of thing. Just a wide brimmed hat to keep the sun off and the like. They're wearing mega damage armor, and they have what look like submachine guns, but they seem to have a heavy ion blaster and a holster on their belt as well. They have what looks to be neural maces dangling from their belt.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So as I'm walking over, I'm assuming they're, possibly getting ready to be defensive. I'm just going to raise my arms and say, "Hey, gentlemen, I'm just looking to see if I could talk to the man in charge, if that's at all possible."
He's pretty busy right now. One of them looks up over at the giant robot vehicle hammering the tent post in. But who can we say is looking for him?
My name's I'm Sir Luke.
Sir Luke, you Cyber Knight?
Yes.
What is it that you needed? What can we pass on?
Well, I'm curious about the direction it came in. There was an incident that we had earlier today. As you can tell, my armor, we had a pretty significant incident. And I was just wondering if you had come across anything that might provide us any information about what we saw.
Oh, well, we came from Relic. Down this way.
Oh,
heading toward
okay.
the Cartier Fury Ranch, south of here. We saw the trading post and we decided to stop. And boss came back after talk and said we'd set up here for a couple days.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I could very easily talk to you guys too then. So here's what happened, and I'll describe kind of what happened, and to just determine if they came across anything that was not similar, obviously, but anything that was unusual, maybe along their path.
And they kind of look at each other, shake their head. No, haven't really encountered any fake animals, robot animals. No, I mean real animals. Yeah, and pretty interesting Borgs, things like that. Yeah, pretty interesting cyborgs. Yeah, but no robot. Well, we did encounter that cyborg centaur. Yeah. But that was a long time ago, and it was in the West. Yeah. He said, but we got haven't encountered anything like that. You wouldn't happen to know if there's a ferry in the south that would get us across the lake. We don't really want to have to risk going through the Nexus down there, the Detroit Nexus.
Yeah. Would I know if there's anything that way?
I don't know. Probably not, but maybe you do. How much do you know about south of Laszlo?
Well, I mean, I grew up near Laszlo, so...
Yeah, but like 4 hours south of Laszlo, I don't know.
Oh, 4 hours? Yeah, probably not a heck of a lot. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm not really sure.
4 hours drive, I mean. It'd be like 400 kilometers, so I'm just thinking of the distance by driving from Toronto to Windsor. So,
right.
Yeah.
So I can say, sorry, no, I haven't gone that far south yet.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll let old Jack know that you were wanting to talk to him.
Awesome. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to go up to my room and get armor off and clean up.
Cool. All right. Senate, Portland, what are you guys up to?
I'm sleeping.
Okay, you're actually sleeping? Okay. What time did we say it was when you guys left?
Yeah,
before?
I thought it was getting late at the point we were getting back anyway.
Yeah. That's probably what it is. So they're probably trying to get everything set up before sundown. So, yeah, you guys can tuck in for the night. Lex, you doing anything else as you wander around?
Like, I'm assuming the room that I have has a window.
Sure, you can have a window in your room. You've got one of the ones on the
do
outside.
Do I see any of the kind of this carnival setting up from my window?
Yeah, you can see it.
I just want to spy on them from my window.
Okay, cool.
And again, just kind of get the vibe as to whether or not I would be safe in and amongst this group of people.
All right. So yeah, you don't really sense anything. You watch as they put things up As the sun starts to go down, the big robot vehicle has a big floodlight on its shoulder, and it illuminates the area as they continue to work to set up. You pretty well figure that by the morning there will be a nice series of tents and striped tents and a very different feel surrounding the outpost here.
Yeah. So other than that, I'll just sleep.
Okay, cool. You guys head to sleep. So if you guys get 8 hours sleep, Portland, you get 56 PPE back. Senate and Lex get 96 ISP back. All right. So you guys wake up after 8 hours. It is early morning. Feeling moderately refreshed. We'll give you back your first 4 SDC there, Portland.
Do you want another shot of healing?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's 6 ISP for 2d6 SDC.
All right. See what you get. Six
That
it
is
is.
better than nothing.
Are you?
Yeah, at this rate, tomorrow morning you'll be back to full.
Cool.
Just got a few scrapes and whatnot, so it's not terrible. All right, there you are. You guys wake up. I'm sure, Lex, you go out and do your business. As usual.
Oh yes,
Absolutely.
All right, Sir Luke apparently also doing his business.
Yes. Well, I'm do my exercises and such.
Oh, that business. Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say you can't take the same tree. I've kind of marked some areas here.
All the dead patches of grass around Lex's. All right, cool. So, what do you guys do in the morning?
And I'm going to go get breakfast.
Yeah, I'll go down for breakfast as well.
I am going to have some breakfast.
Cool. You guys head around into the lodge, and they got eggs cooking. They've got potatoes like hash and the like, and
not just stew.
No, they have other food as well. Yeah.
The eggs and bacon is also
nice.
good.
Not bacon, but
No bacon. Oh,
eggs and hash. That's what they got going on.
no.
And
Now, when you say it's good,
Are we going to do this?
I'm just
well, there is no stew, so we can't really debate morality of food right now.
you tend to deal in absolutes with your stuff, so I'm just curious.
All
Sometimes it just tastes good.
Does that mean sometimes it just tastes evil?
Wow.
right. Probably. So, you eat breakfast, and they bring you your food, and they're like, "We thank you for still coming in here. Traveling show is nice and all, but they tend to make sure people go elsewhere for food."
Has this show come here before?
Maybe if they have it. It's been a while. There's traveling shows that come by now and again.
I just want to know: do they typically bring coalition types, or is it? No, I just want to know if I'm going to be safe if I go around, or if I should just stay in here.
I haven't seen a coalition type in a show before. Nobody really. That's not much of an attraction.
I'll turn them. I think we're probably going to be good. Hopefully. I can't imagine why they would come.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. As you're eating, you can kind of hear loudspeakers turn on, and a voice comes over the loudspeakers. "Good morning, Travelers Cove. Welcome to the Traveling Freak Show. We are open from now till sundown. Come for thrills and mystery, games and entertainment. Relieve the burdens of life, and enjoy yourselves."
So at the sound of Freak Show, Luke kind of not sneers, but kind of just winces a bit at it.
Okay. The proprietor, is the food all right?
Oh, yeah, the food is delicious as always. Yeah, just Yeah, no worries. I just have other things on my mind as well.
Hmm. All right. All right. So he goes back to the kitchen.
So what are we going to check this thing out?
The
Might
show.
as well.
Well,
I don't.
I just know when we arrived last night, some of that I don't know, those robot vehicles were kind of looking at us. If they're talking about freaks, I don't know. I've heard that I've been called a freak before. I don't want to get picked up by this group and kind of forced to travel around and paraded around here.
Well, I think that the show. I think it's all voluntary. I have a feeling that anybody who is presented as a freak is volunteering and getting paid for it. But yeah, for me, it just puts a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not a big fan of. I think it's kind of dehumanizing. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I kind of feel like maybe they put me in this as well.
You at least look human.
But why would you want to dehumanize yourself?
I don't. That's the point. I don't want to be dehumanized. I just feel that this is just a dehumanizing kind of thing. And my comment was, I've always been kind of an outsider. So, I mean, I'm just uncomfortable.
But you don't want to go in then.
Well, I didn't say that. I mean, man, I'm curious to see what it's about. But
So you want to see these people dehumanize themselves?
no, that's not quite what I said.
Then why would you want to go in then?
I didn't say that I said I'm curious, but it doesn't mean I necessarily desperately want to see it. I'm just curious. There's a lot of things that people be curious about. It doesn't mean that they ultimately will go do it. I mean, sometimes the better angels of our nature, right? Resist that.
So if we're going to start a stew-based or a not stew-based morality conversation, I might actually go to Gordo's grave and pay some respects. Seems like a thing that you should probably do.
That would seem like something more proper to do than go and see people dehumanize them.
I'm not.
It seems as though all I'm saying is that Sir Luke seems to know.
I'm going to the door.
I'm going to the door. These types of things.
I'm moving.
And so if he already has an idea of what these things already are, then I don't understand why.
I cannot get to the door fast enough. Pretty sure I just jumped the chair.
Hey, do you want some company? I'm getting up to
Parkour unlocked. I went out the window.
Well, Lex, it's just you and the ley line walker.
Yeah, I'm getting up and I'm leaving too. Basically, because I want to.
We're at it with your shit. We're out of here.
I want to see if they actually filled in all of the dirt. If not, they need me to dig it back in and kind of.
You're checking the architecture of the grave. I love it.
All right. So
I just want to see if there's more dirt that needs to be done.
Of course.
Sounds good. Let's go I'm going to go to this carnival.
Okay. The three of you go to the grave. I'm assuming, Sir Luke, you're also going there?
Yeah, I'm going.
And already at the grave is a woman who's kind of kneeling down at it. You can see that she's setting even more flowers on the grave than are already there. And she's weeping, wearing black.
Ooh, maybe we shouldn't interrupt.
I'm probably going to still go over and pay my respects.
Yeah, I'll go with you. Just be discreet and all that.
I'm going to watch from a distance.
All right. The two of you approach. She wipes her eyes and looks back at you as you come close. She says, I knew that you would still come to pay your respects. They put him in the ground, and then this show shows up, and no respect for the dead.
I don't be too hard on them. It's been a tough life, and you more than anybody know that at this point. But yeah, we would of course come to pay our respects.
They could have told that show to keep going on.
Yeah, they could have.
It is also fair to look for relief where you can find it.
People deal with grief differently.
She just starts to sob into her hands.
I will go to console as best I can.
Right. She just kind of shrugs you off and gets up and leaves the grave, running off.
Well, not on the grave, obviously, but adjacent to the grave, I might sit
Okay.
just quietly, just again, paying respects, reflecting on the actions of Gordo and the attempt to preserve the horses.
Yeah.
I mean, selfless in that way.
And as he sits, I'm going to kind of talk to him. I'm going to talk to Senate. And so, well, it's not a disrespectful thing. It's like just,
Okay.
I'll sit beside him and say, at a certain point, we're going to have to talk about what happened yesterday, what those were.
It's unfortunate that we couldn't get more answers from them before they met
Blew
their
up.
untimely and explosive end.
And blew us up, yeah.
Well,
Well, I talked to two of the guards, and they have no idea. I mean, they came from a different direction, so I thought that perhaps they would have come across something that could have been a clue.
and I'll kind of turn my head and say, did you warn them about the territory of this thorn demon?
No, I haven't yet. I think that's something we should talk
Didn't
to the
even have
boss
to check
about.
my notes. Look at me go.
Nicely done. No, I think that's something we should do. Talk to the boss, the guy who's running this. But you're right. That's something they should know about as well. I just have a bad feeling about just what happened yesterday. Besides the obvious, but there's something really wrong about it.
They gave a warning, so I don't think that as a threat they're over and done with.
No, absolutely not. And what they
So-
did to that caravan, what happened to it, it just...
But I'm getting the sense like they're only just the beginning, and that this is a larger issue. I mean, Thorn Demon is Thorn Demon. That's its own basket of nonsense. But
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with this. I think they're separate.
yeah, but this itself seems to be a fairly sizable threat on its own.
Mm-hmm.
But for what it is, I mean, we have to regroup as best we can. It's probably worth trying to find some kind of mega damage protection, because this is not a state that I'm happy to be in.
No, I've got some spare light armor for myself, but that's...
Well, that's it. I mean, that's 1 out of 5 armored at that point.
Yeah. I'd loan you it, but there's a bit of a...
No, I've got ways to protect myself. It's just not as consistent, so we'll have to keep an eye out, I suppose.
Well, maybe they have a way to repair it here.
I was hoping to help Gordo's grieving widow, but this probably isn't the time.
How do you mean help her?
Well, I mean, being a psychic, I have certain abilities, and it wouldn't be long term, but I could at least give her some temporary respite from the grief.
Well, you could, but
it has to happen when she's ready. This isn't something I can force.
Okay. I was just my concern would have been that it would have been something that would be done of a kindness, but people also deserve their grief.
Well, that's it. It has to be something that she's welcoming of. Otherwise, I'm not interested.
Okay.
And given her response, now is clearly not the time. But
So I'm looking over. Is Lex still around?
Yeah, he's standing back off, and he didn't approach. Kind of where you guys left when you approached the grave is where he's still standing.
well, I wanted to ask, what kind of a read did you get on the traveling show?
Well, it seems like a standard carnival. I mean, it's not a massive event. It's something you see probably at your like I haven't come across this one before, but the place where I live near Laszlo, I mean, it was a small little village as well. We would routinely get, well, not routinely, but we would occasionally get these kind of shows. People traveling from one place to the other. Doesn't read anything differently than that. Although Lex is right. I mean, did you see those two power armor guys in the power armor? Was it power armor or was it the robots?
There's two suits of power armor and one robot.
Yeah, power armor. Yeah. So
I mean, that honestly does make sense for this part of the world.
Right, but no, it's not that they exist. It's that how they reacted when they saw us.
I did not notice that.
Can I walk over at this point?
Yeah, for sure.
Lex, did you see it?
You didn't see how they looked at us?
No, I was kind of tapped out at the point that we got back.
Strange. I mean, other than that, I mean, it seems like an ordinary, show, but that was unsettling.
I mean, in fairness, I mean, the way we looked approaching the town under cover of darkness.
Yeah. Oh, Lex,
Fair to draw people's attention.
I should probably tell you this. I may have inadvertently given everybody the impression that you are a robot, and they...
I just very slowly turned my head with narrow eyes going, what?
Yeah, so...
like, you know how that look on a dog where it's like, you pretend to throw the ball, but they totally know the whole time, and they just look disappointed at you.
Yeah.
That's the look that I want to give to Sir Luke right now.
Yeah.
So I'll explain. I
You're better than this.
As you break it down
I had so much respect and value for you, and then like you try some crap like that.
So it wasn't what I just. No, let me explain what happened.
All right. So you break it down for him. I'm going to jump over to Portland. And Portland, you approach the show.
Yes.
All right. There are a few younger men and some children with one of their fathers who have made it there before you, but not many. They couldn't wait till this place opened up. But you approach. What would you like to do?
I'm going to have a conversation with these people that are in front of me.
Okay.
I'll ask them, have you seen a show like this before?
Oh, yeah. Traveling shows are the greatest.
Have you seen this particular show before?
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see what they show. What they got inside. Maybe we've seen this one before. It's always hard to tell just by them showing up.
What are some things to expect? I've never actually been to one of these shows before.
Well, it depends on the show. Sometimes they got dinosaurs. Sometimes they got things from the West. Sometimes they got things from the Rifts. Sometimes they got, things for trade that we ain't ever seen here.
Cool. That sounds very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things you've seen? So you've seen dinosaurs before? Like real dinosaurs?
Some, says one of the kids. Last show that came by had one. Barely fit in the cage.
Barely fit in the cage. Well, I'm really excited to enter this one then. It'll be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you head in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of different shows, a few sideshow barkers. Step right up, check out we've got some of the greatest wares this side of Laszlo, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, which is not saying much, but try some of our outstanding rabbit stew. It's good, not evil. We have a
stew.
Yeah, mug of apple cider. All together with a mug of apple cider for 6 credits.
Well, I'm hitting that up. I'm
2 credits a mug of beer.
Just sidebar for everyone who actually is listening. I am such a foodie at carnivals. That's like the first thing I do. Yeah. Like, I don't even care about the rides. I go
It's genuinely unbelievable. You can't take it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot not go first to the food. I don't even care if my kids want to go somewhere. I'm just like, nah, we're hitting the food up first because that line gets huge. You can't get like a deep fried Snickers bar like halfway through the day. It's impossible. They're gonna be out by that.
So Portland, how many credits do you want to drop on food?
I'm dropping at least 18 credits on food.
Okay, so that will get
I
you
want
some.
the works.
That'll get you some of everything, but it won't leave you. It won't leave you with anything to take with you.
What do you mean take with me?
Like you won't have like handfuls to walk away with. You'll get food to eat, but you won't be.
Oh
able
yeah,
to...
no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm cool with that. I'm gonna savor every morsel of this.
Cool. All right. So admission's 5 credits, and stew and cider. They have beer. They've got maple syrup candy. A variety of different dried meats. Some of them is alligator. Some of them is like there's all sorts of things like that. And if you drop a grand total of 20 credits, then you will be able to have admission plus your fill of these foods.
I'm doing all 20,
and they will take coalition credit, like universal credits.
I'm going to use universal credits here.
Okay.
Done. Paid.
All right. And you walk through the show sipping your
my cider. I'm having cider, and then I'm having a beer later. I'll drink that cider first.
Yeah.
By the way, just a little sidebar for everyone listening, by the way. I fucking love cider. Like, oh my God. Like a nice, cold... Like, I'm not talking about alcoholic cider either, because I enjoy that too. But a cold, crisp cider... Oh, so good. So delicious. Anyways, continue.
All right. So, luckily for you, it was a cool night, and they left the cider out in the jugs to cool off. So it's nice and cool. Right. Anyway.
And ferment.
Yes. And so...
I'm trying to ruin this experience.
Yeah. So you walk through. First is kind of the sideshow, which is a selection of strange vegetation. There's a gigantic skull. They say from the largest DB monster we've ever encountered along our ways. They have a skeleton with a wooden stake in its chest, labeled vampire. Please do not touch the stake, says the barker. And a collection of various pre-Rifts artifacts under glass, baseball caps and magazines and some portable electronic devices that look smashed beyond repair. Most of these
BlackBerry.
things, most of these things are incorrectly. That's right.
Nokia because it's indestructible. Yeah.
That's right. Most of these things are incorrectly identified. Yeah, they're incorrectly identified. If your character wouldn't necessarily know that, but
right.
And yeah, it takes you a little while to wander through there, and you're thoroughly enjoying this cider and the different meats and stuff. That like you got just a fistful of food that you're going through as you sip your cider.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying every morsel.
Yeah,
I'm even eating with my mouth open just to really like enjoy the smacking of my lips as I'm doing it.
Are you one of those guys that lingers over the sideshow, or do you just go through it as fast as you can?
No, I like to linger. Like I paid for this experience. I want to get the full experience.
Yeah. So you check it all out in detail. You're like, I don't know if that's really a vamp, but please don't touch the steak, right? So. Yeah. So you probably spend a good 20 minutes at least in the sideshow tent there. What about the other 3 of you? What are you doing now?
Please forgive me, Lex. It was not intentional.
I heard it. I mean, there isn't much that I can do now.
I mean,
so I'll just just go get some food at the circus here.
Okay.
Yeah, might as well give it a shot. Give it a look.
All right. Senate, you going with them, or are you staying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you guys make your way over as well. A number of people have gathered at the entrance now and are making their way in. They're trading, whatever they happen to have, trade goods, to cover the admission fee there.
So I'm just going to mumble to myself under my breath, but probably you'll hear me here. I wonder if they have armor.
I might.
I'm thinking the exact same thing. So whether or not I heard you say that, I am thinking the exact same thing.
Thinking, well, I mean, for me, I think, and for you probably, Lex, we'll have to get a custom made.
Well, I can wear armor. I would need a helmet for a dog boy.
Yeah.
Well, they do have non-environmental armor as well, right? So, Not saying that they have it here, but it does exist.
It exists.
Is what I'm saying. Yeah. So, you guys, it'll cost you 5 credits to get in.
All right, I'll pay my 5 credits.
Credits it is.
Yeah.
All right. The barker again, barking up the food. Do you guys want to do similar to Portland and go for the gusto? Or
Yeah,
do you
why
wanna...
not? Why not? I like meat.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, sure.
if you do that, it'll just take off 20 credits then, and you'll have you'll be able to have
Does-
sampled all the stuff plus admission.
Does my superior sense of smell tell me if it's enjoyable?
Yeah, it does. It's actually quite good.
Okay. So then it makes it worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not.
this is very good.
Yeah, they're not. It's very. The stew is actually better than what they serve at the lodge. So
So when we come across the vampire, I really want to know what my character thinks,
I don't know what you mean by that.
because I think I have like abilities to sense vampirism.
You might. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's I didn't know that's what you meant by what your character thinks. I'm like, yeah, recognize vampire. It says 10% per level. Let's see.
So I'm
what
at
is-
20% right now.
Yeah, so it's a vampire skeleton. So I'm going to say that you have a plus 30% to that because you have a plus 30% when identifying wild vampires, it says. And that would basically mean the things that look most like a vampire. So you'd have a plus 30%. However, it's a skeleton, so it could just be a fanged humanoid. I'm just looking at your so it's mine. It says minus 30% if the vampire is somewhat disguised. So yeah, we'll go with the straight roll then. So
Okay.
you're 20%.
Not even close.
No, even if you had the bonuses. So yeah.
I'm still dubious about it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, your sense doesn't give anything away. Likewise, Lex, you don't detect any sort of supernatural creature here, but it would be dead if it's staked, right? So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
so yeah, they're like, please don't touch the stake, right? Please. We don't want this thing reanimating, even in the daylight. We don't want to risk it.
And I'll just kind of nod and look the other way and wander off.
Okay. How long do you guys take in here? Quite a long time, or just kind of a quick perusal?
I think for me,
Yeah,
it's
I'm doing a
perusal.
quick perusal.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say then by the time you guys get done your perusal, Portland will have finished off, and he's just kind of licking his fingers outside the tent there as you guys step out.
I'll give him a nod.
Hey, Portland.
Hello.
Food is good. I'll give him that.
It was excellent. Did you try the cider?
Yes, I did. It was nice. Nice cider. Very good cider. Very crisp.
It was very crisp. I think they left it outside the night before.
Well, nice and cold then.
Exactly. Delicious.
All right.
What was your favorite part of that experience?
I guess the food.
Fair enough.
All right. As you talk amongst yourselves, a barker calls out, "Step right up to the live show, live attractions. Terrible carnivorous dinosaur, Gilda the living blob, Rasputin the wild man, Sly the snake man, just to name a few."
So
Okay.
I want to point out that kind of walking through, I didn't notice anything that was kind of supernatural. Basically, I didn't have any kind of those senses, so I'm not going into this, and I want to tell the other guys that.
Okay, you say that. Are you approaching the live tent?
No,
Not at all.
just kind of where we are talking.
Okay, cool. All
I
right.
hear him. I'll kind of look over, and then it's just like, yeah, I'm not interested.
Okay. Senate, you have the skill about pre-rift stuff, no?
Let's take a look.
Pre-rift's history or something?
Pre-Rifts history, general, yes.
Yeah, okay, give me a roll on that. Just because you walked
okay.
past all of those artifacts and stuff like that.
Post-apocalypse. I just want to make sure I'm using the right one. Yeah, okay. Not
Yeah.
today.
So you don't realize that any of them are incorrectly identified or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's all right. Yeah. So Lex just decides to hang out.
I mean,
Yeah, I'll take any leftover food, and I'll just kind of go back to Clappers there and take it up to my room and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Cool.
Well,
I'll look at Portland, and were you going to go check out the live show?
Yes, sir. Full experience. I understand if you wouldn't like to go there, Sir Luke. It can be dehumanizing. But I will take that for you anyways. And then if it is dehumanizing, then I will let you know, and we can go on a murderous rampage.
what? What? No, what?
Because they're evil, right? If it's dehumanizing these things, don't you want to destroy it?
I'm already.
No. That's
I'm out
not
again.
necessarily. That's not necessarily.
I'm going to end up getting a skill
have
in this,
to.
like specialization.
Just
Would that not
because
be evil to dehumanize people? Was that not
It's-
wrong?
Wait a
it's-
minute,
it's-
I can mute people. Hang on. I'm going to fix this whole problem right now.
Okay.
So
So-
it's. I don't think it's quite the same as diabolic evil, or I think it's just ignorance. I don't think that's worthy of death.
So
Okay.
if they're dehumanizing somebody, and they're, for example, in a cage or something like that,
All right.
that would be okay with you.
I'm going to have you guys continue the conversation as you move into the tent, if you're moving into the tent.
I'm not going to go into the tent.
Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
going to say, have a good time, Portland.
Will do. I'll let you know all about it afterwards.
I'm sure you will.
Cool. Senate, are you going in there?
Yeah, because the conversation isn't in the tent.
Okay, so you walk in first, followed by Portland, and yeah, you walk in. The tent is set up in such a fashion that it's connected to other tents by small little tarped kind of hallways, sort of thing, to keep the rain off if there's rain or anything like that. And the first tent has a rather large cage in the center. Inside
shit.
it is a wild and dangerous looking humanoid, a mutant beaver that seems to be very feral and quite vicious. It makes a sort of kind of an angry hissing sound, sort of thing, it tries to gnaw on the bars, which are made of steel. But you notice that there's some pretty deep grooves in the steel. As this thing gnaws away at it, its clawed hands gripping the bars, and it keeps, giving hell to the people that are passing by. It doesn't say anything, but it, growls and sort of hisses. It hits the floor of its cage with its big flat tail.
I'm going to turn to
So-
Senate and be like, do you think that is an act, or do you think that this particular being here is in distress?
I mean, it's in a cage, so
But I agree. But is that for our protection?
or is that part of the act? Well,
I don't
hang on,
know.
Let's see what kind of skills I have.
I am also going to use some of my skills. I have a skill I want to use. Oh, I want to use a skill.
What skill might that be?
I want to befriend it. Where's that fucking spell? It is one.
Yeah, the
combat?
rest of the crowd here are very impressed by the giant beaver thing here. They're all like, "Cool!"
Oh, yeah,
right?
we
They're,
shouldn't-
they're shrieky.
We shouldn't obviously mess with the thing if you're going to be standing there doing wacky, wavy, inflatable arm flailing tube man motions while spellcasting. That's probably going to throw some people off.
Yeah, you're not alone in here, that's for sure. Because there's a barker
True.
in here too, right? There's a person kind of,
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
the-
not now.
the
I could
mutant beaver, wild and dangerous, captured from the wilds of the north.
I could use telepathy potentially.
I'm gonna turn
up
to the barker there, and I'll be like, so what makes this creature here dangerous?
Look at him.
And how did you catch it?
It's a trap. He could gnaw through those bars if we gave him enough time, but this button right here, and he shows you a little device that has a big red button on it, puts some voltage right through those, some current right through those bars, and he'll stop.
Don't you think that's a little bit cruel
Well, he was being hunted.
by you?
No. Coalition was trying to put him down.
Oh, and so you're saving it.
No, we feed him every day. He's got a dry and safe,
Okay.
warm place to sleep.
Okay, so like a shelter essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an act that this creature is being as feral as it is.
Nope.
Okay. Just gonna make note of that in my head. Something to tell.
Oh,
Sir Luke?
you're just. We already have 2 issues. We can't. Our dance card is full. Okay.
I'm not here to dance, Senate.
Yes, I understand.
I'm here to enjoy the show.
I don't think you understand, but I understand, and
Are you suggesting that this animal is dancing then?
I don't think you understand the words coming out of my mouth. And
The
I'm gonna
barker.
start-
The barker steps closer. Perhaps you gentlemen would like the next show in the next tent.
I think I will. Let's keep on going.
All right. You step through the small connecting tarped sort of outdoor hallway into the next tent, and inside is an oversized cage for the small dinosaur that paces back and forth within it on the straw floor. A baby tyrannosaur, direct from the wilds of Florida. At full maturity, this monster will stand 40 feet tall and be able to swallow a man whole. Stay back.
Wow.
It's been known to bite people's hands clean off if you get too close, and the kids kind of are all like, and clutch their hands to their chests and things like that.
I see. Was this one also being hunted?
No, it was hunting us.
It was hunting you. This little thing was hunting you?
Vicious. Vicious.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. It is also in a cage, I noticed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
For its own protection.
And ours.
And ours. Okay. Interesting. Do you shock this one as well?
If need be.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
You're such a dick.
I'm just playing my role, asshole.
You are just trying to start. Like, does your character have stir the pot as a skill, or is that?
Yes, he does.
I'm pretty sure your disposition was easygoing, laid back, and trusting.
Yeah.
I am.
we're
I'm
leaning
trusting this person. Well, I'm still absorbing the information. Like, it's for our protection and their protection. I get what's going on. I'm just taking it all in right now.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's what we're doing.
Have you?
All right.
I'm going to turn to say. Have you ever seen a creature like this before?
That's a great question. Have I seen a creature like this before?
Not given where you're from, no.
And I'm gonna look and say, no, I've never been to Florida.
Do you think something that small could be that dangerous?
I mean, have you met Lex?
Yeah, but Lex is also a lot larger than this Tyrannosaur.
I thought the Tyrannosaur was like 4 feet tall.
It's a small
Yeah.
carnivorous dinosaur, so it's about
Yeah.
it's about man-sized. Yeah.
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 Which makes it bigger than dog-sized or dog-man-sized.
Well-
Man-dog.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm only 4 feet tall.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Oh,
Well,
okay. Okay.
The barker overhears your conversation. Judge for yourself in the next tent whether size equals danger.
Okay. Let's go to the next tent. Do I still have food?
Yeah, oh for sure.
Awesome. I'm gonna offer Senate. Do you want a bite?
I have my own food. gesturing to the thing in my hand.
Well, I don't know if you bought 20 credits worth. That's what I'm saying.
I'm here for the experience. Although apparently I'm not as here as you are.
Oh, I am here.
And
Are
so,
those kids there with their father?
yeah, there's
Okay.
kids with adults, you know.
No,
They've
the
put-
same kids I saw earlier. That's what I'm asking. The same kids.
Sure,
Are they there
sure.
with
Some of the sure, yeah.
I'm like, do you guys see a dinosaur like this one last time?
They're like, I don't know, because he's too little. He's like, I don't know. It was cool though.
Is the father there, or do you like?
Yeah, he's like, might have been, but probably not. That's an awfully small dinosaur.
Oh, so the one you saw was bigger.
Oh yeah, it didn't fit in the cage hardly.
Didn't fit in the cage. Interesting. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
All right,
Probably
we'll
different
ride
show.
along.
Continue.
Yeah, you guys make your way through the connecting hall there, and
Tent number 3.
the barker yells, I give you Gilda, the living blob. And sitting on a raised platform on a large set of cushions with a big plate of food is a massive 600-pound orange-skinned DB woman stuffing her face.
Oh, she paid 20 credits as well.
Not for what she's eating.
Oh, never mind that.
Yeah. And she basically glares at the people that are looking at her, going, "Oh!" She's like, "What are you looking at?"
Interesting.
Yeah.
Up and say,
And so she speaks English. Interesting.
nice to meet you.
Well, American.
Have a good day.
Yeah. She takes a bite of something.
Is she in a cage?
Nope.
She takes him.
Okay, good.
May I ask why you're not in a cage?
Oh, moving. I am moving on. We're going 3 for 3 on this.
You just grab him by the shoulder.
I am like combat rolling through tarps at this point.
What are you talking about? What is
No, I'm not. I am not in charge of Portland. No. Portland is his own being. He has his own autonomy. He could, if he wants to pick a fight with this, you pick a fight
I'm
with
not
this.
picking a fight with anything. I'm just asking a question. I'm curious.
This is turning into an episode of Seinfeld.
Pretty much.
One of the unaired ones. That's
Where did you
Gotta-
park?
Got a meme for that too, but that's for later.
Park.
All right. Into the next tent. The barker exclaims, I give you Rasputin, the wild man. And in a large caged-in area, doesn't have a top to it, is a half-naked, pale-skinned, tattooed-covered Psy-Stalker who is kind of acting deranged and chomping his filed teeth at the people that are watching through the cage. Grabs a chicken that's running around on the floor in the cage and bites its head off, spitting the head out through the bars, blood spraying everywhere, and he does all sorts of different feats of tumbling and acrobatic stuff, climbs up the bars of the cage and bounces off of them, landing on his feet, putting on a good show.
I'll turn to Stan and say, another person who enjoys their food.
And I'll just kind of side eye you, because Psy stalkers are known for stalking Psy, which is a thing I'm a big fan of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you describe very clearly, as the name would suggest, something that is feral. So yeah, no, great.
It's wild, even.
Yeah.
All right. As you move,
Certain uneasiness I have about the whole scene.
yeah, and you can see him eyeing you as you guys walk through. He licks his lips.
Is this one evil?
Who are you
And I
asking?
will just very in a graphic and animated sort of way do some weird arm flourish and be like, I'm sorry, have you confused me for someone who's 7 feet tall?
No, but I don't really
I'm
know
not-
much about them. Some beings can be evil, apparently, just naturally. So I'm just curious.
Evil or not, he and I are of generally very different ilk. And while I bear
You
him
guys-
individually no ill will, like that chicken in the wild, he would be looking at me in the same way he was looking at the chicken.
I see. So you guys don't really see side to side.
And you move on into the next tent.
Yep. Yep. And see, you know how the barker didn't say a word? He's shaking his head too.
Yeah.
The chicken
He is.
somehow shaking its head.
Yeah. All
The
laying
chicken's
there
still
on the
running
floor.
around.
That's right. Shaking its head. Or its lack
Mike the
thereof.
headless chicken. Google
Yeah.
it.
All right. And so you move into the last tent, and the barker, I give you Sly, the snake man. Is he man or serpent? We can't really tell. What you see in a cage that has a glass or some sort of transparent material, you think it's glass kind of barrier around the outside of the bars, is another size stalker. Obviously painted to look reptilian. He slithers around on his belly, hissing and licking his lips in a cage filled with over 100 different types of snake. Some of them have hoods like cobras, and some of them have rattles. And he doesn't seem to be affected by them as he moves around, hissing at people and flicking what's definitely a split tongue.
So I'm sorry, you said he was obviously painted green?
He's painted to look like reptilian scales.
Mm.
But it was noticeable.
Yeah, you guys weren't fooled by it.
Oh.
So, go ahead. What were you going to say there?
Sorry, Senna was going to say something. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Then, do you want me to say something? Okay, can I talk? Sorry.
Yeah, you had some.
I was unsure. I didn't sure you were going to chime in there. That's all.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to say to the barker, this one seems to be painted on.
Sometimes he might look that way. He might be molten.
No, he really does look that way.
One of the kids is like, yeah, he kind of does.
Oh. That's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. Says, well, you might think this one's fake, but what's in our last tent? The main attraction. Well, we'll see what you think of him.
Okay. Let's keep on going then.
Yes, this way to the incredible machine man. Is he human, or is he some sort of alien bot? See for yourself, but beware. The machine man has been torn in half, and is not a sight appropriate for young children or the weak of heart. And the kids are like, yeah, he's probably fake, just like the snake man. Right? Yeah, way to go, Leyline Walker. You could really tell. Right? And they usher themselves into the next tent there. And what you see in the next tent is a sight to behold. A grungy, wild-haired man with mechanical arms sits huddled in the corner of a large cage. When the crowd is gathered, and one of the kids shouts out, it's just a Borg. The huddled figure begins to move. Without fail, one of the other kids lets out a shriek and actually kind of staggers back, almost falling over. He steadies himself on his father's leg as the disfigured being raises himself on two robotic arms, revealing that he has no body from the rib cage down, just wires and mechanical parts dangling from his lower extremity. What were flesh-like coverings on his arms are peeled away to reveal portions of robot arms. The shoulders, too, are bare of flesh, revealing the machine man's inner workings. Wires and knobs stick out of his head. Suddenly, the half-man skitters about his cage, walking on his hands with surprising speed and agility. Borg! He bellows. I be no Borg. I am... God. Pulled from the pits of hell. And with that, he begins to laugh maniacally and fling himself onto the bars of his cage, pulling himself up high into the light for all to see. This is no fake, nor a robot, nor is it human. And, yeah, what do you do?
Sorry, so you're describing like a T-800, like a machine wrapped in what is left of what passes for human skin?
Let me show you what he looks like. So there's the picture of him.
Can you play him like Nicolas Cage?
Oh my god.
No, not quite.
Oh, okay.
But that is what he looks like.
Okay.
So
Is that a mustache?
one of the kids described
No.
him as a Borg. Is
No.
this Borg-like? Like cyborg-like?
A Borg usually has organs inside.
Yeah.
More like RoboCop, right?
Right.
So this is something different. What would I roll to try and determine this thing's origin? If anything.
Do you have any cybernetics skills or anything that has to do with engineering or even, I guess you might have post-apocalyptic history?
Computer operation, I believe I have post-apocalyptic. General and Laszlo.
General, probably.
Okay. Oh. Nice.
No, right. From your knowledge of the history since the apocalypse, you don't know of anybody that has the level of technology to create something like this. And he sees you staring at him, and he says, "Ain't I a thing of beauty?" And he kind of swings himself from the bars and skittles across the floor of the cage. "Yes, I be most amazing, no?" And he throws himself at the bars right in front of your face, and he says, "Now get the hell out!" And with those words, he huddles back into the shadowed corner of his cage. And the host of the show begins to usher you out, looking a little bit worried. He says, "All right, show's over, everyone. Thank you. Have yourself a bowl of the most tantalizing rabbit stew you've ever eaten. It's very good and not evil at all. Have a nice bowl of beer,
God, it's spreading.
cider." And he just quickly tries to usher people out.
On my way out, can I cast a look over my shoulder and attempt to telepathically connect with this half being?
Yeah, you can totally try.
I want to send a message. I'm not trying to read thoughts or anything like that.
No, that's totally cool. You can try, for sure. You activate your telepathy, reaching toward his mind, and you just get a cold, vacant spot where he is.
Yeah, so there's nothing going on then.
There's something there, but it's almost
Okay.
like you've hit a wall. You would liken it to a mind block of some sort, which is a psychic power that prevents things like telepathic contact, but this doesn't feel the same.
I mean, I would try to send the message, "You are impressive," and then see if he reacts.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay, that's fine. There was an attempt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like trying to explain that Lex is not a robot.
Okay.
So what do you think about that last exhibit?
And I'm going to kind of look around and then nudge Portland away from anyone that might be nearby.
Okay.
And once we're sufficiently clear,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just try and explain. I've never seen a robot which acted like a rhino buffalo and spoke. I've also never
That was
seen
not
a
a rhino
robot.
buffalo.
I've also never seen a robot like that. That is much more advanced than anything I've seen, even out of the Coalition.
Mm,
I'm not saying those two things are linked,
right. But there's a link. What you're saying?
but there's a potential link.
I see.
Did try to connect with it telepathically while I was in there
Mm-hmm.
and got absolutely nowhere, which I don't know what to make of. I've never felt.
Can you telepathically link with robots?
Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. I have a skill for this. Skill. Skill.
Or is it any sentient being?
Didn't I have... Oh, I have lore magic. I don't have lore psionics. Oh, I do. There it is. It's down there. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I will attempt to basically try and... I mean, would I know that there are psionics that have the ability to interface with machines? Or is this something I would need to roll on?
You don't have that ability, so this would be
I
something.
don't. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't personally have that ability, but would I know of other psionics that have that ability?
You've
Cycles.
probably heard of operators that can speak to machines with their minds, but you don't know if it's true or not. If you give me a successful roll on the lore psionics, you would definitely know whether or not such rumors are true. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No. Okay.
Yeah. So you've
So I'll
heard.
just stick with the I've heard rumors that things of this nature are possible. I mean, I personally can't, as evident by the fact that I didn't. But I've never. There was something there, and I've never had the reaction that I've had from that. It was like a block, but it wasn't. And I'm sorry, I can't explain it to you anymore in detail because I myself don't much understand it.
Okay, understandable. So we should just leave it alone then.
Not to push the situation, but I'd rather try and have a chance to talk to it, but I don't think...
Why would you want to talk to it?
I don't think while it's performing is the time to do that.
Well, it's not currently performing, but you are still standing near the exit to that tent, and the Barker walks over to you. Come on, boys, how about you try some of the stew?
How did you find that guy thing?
Oh, he was just found on a battlefield over in the west. He was blown in half. Just a Borg, he says.
And you guys blew it up? Or you found it like that, sorry.
No, just found him in a battlefield.
Oh, what made you decide to keep it?
He was still alive.
Interesting.
But
Has he always talked like that?
Oh, he took quite a blow to the head.
It
Okay.
seems
And
like
he's never
wanted
to be
everything.
He doesn't want to be rebuilt?
Well, he seems comfortable. Seems to enjoy himself as he is, but really, it's more of the fact that he wants to show off that he's that durable. You know, he can take a licking and keep going.
Fascinating.
Would it be possible to speak with him?
Oh,
I mean, away from all the crowds and the show.
No, we just we don't want to disturb our sideshow folk. You know, they work hard, and he says, "Here's old Jack. I'm sure he can answer your questions there."
How about if we pay you to talk to him?
And he kind of waves past you, right? It looks like he's waving somebody over. And an ornery old guy with a cowboy hat heads over. He's got one bad bionic eye. You can hear as his arms swing, you can hear the servos and bionic arms that must be under his long coat.
See, that's a Borg.
And his manner is gruff, explosive. "What's the trouble here?" he says.
No trouble, sir. We're just curious about this machine person.
Oh,
That's
I
all.
see. Well,
Just asking some questions.
got your money's worth, didn't you? Why don't you boys move along? And as he says that, out from behind the tents, the wild man steps out, toweling off the blood from the chicken from his face, and the guy painted up like a snake steps out on the other side, and they walk up beside him.
Great show.
And I'll look at Jack and say, "We honestly mean no harm, and we're not looking to ruffle any feathers." If I'm to understand it, our Cyber Knight came and had words with some of you last night.
Right, they kind of look at each other. "Look, we didn't talk to any Cyber Knight. Heard that there was one poking around, but look, listen." And he kind of lowers his voice, looking away from the crowds that are kind of around getting food and stuff. He's like, "Look, none of these boys here," he motions to the two Psy Stalkers behind, "are prisoners. We run a fair and respectable show. All right?
And
Now just
no
give
one's
us...
saying any different.
Well, then just give us some peace. Go have a brew on us. We don't want
No,
any
the
trouble.
reason, and that's why I'm here to talk to you, because the Psystalker didn't have a chance, or the Cyberknight didn't have a chance to properly warn you.
Warn us about what? You threatening me, boy? Not that we can't handle
me
anything
out.
that you want to throw
Hear
our
me-
way. And then with
Hear
that,
me out.
a vibro blade slides out of his left arm. And the snake man, he just kind of leers at you. We'll hear you, unless you want to start something.
Around all these nice people,
We'll finish what
And
you
over what
start,
I would
says
otherwise
the
consider-
wild man.
over what I would consider a courtesy, if I'm to hear it correctly, you came from this direction, and I will describe what was told to me by Sir Luke, based on the direction they came from.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Sorry, say again?
So, did Sir Luke explain to me the conversation he had with the two guys the evening before, right? So I would know the direction they came from
That's
to reach
right.
this town.
Yeah, they came from Relic, which is in the east, yeah.
You came from that direction. Were I you, I'd avoid that direction and point toward our incident at the ley line.
And the man kind of raises his eyebrow. It's
The
like,
reason I say that,
well, hold on. Come with me. And he walks you over to the back of another tent, opens it up. Inside is a table, and it looks like a kind of a rest area.
Mhm.
And he says, walks over to a small cask, grabs a couple mugs, fills them with beer, sets them down, fills one for himself and lets the other two grab a beer as well, and says, okay, we can talk in here. I don't want to startle people out there. What happened?
the reason I say you should avoid that direction is because depending on how lucky you are, you might see the skulls before you see the thorn demon.
Thorn and the two Psystalkers kind of look at each other. You mean a thornhead?
It depends on what a thorn head is.
Big demon, antlers.
Yeah.
That'd be
Very
the one.
similar.
Face
That'd be the one.
tentacles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I'm here is to more or less warn you. That's one of the threats in the region. I would respectfully suggest maybe avoiding that particular locale.
They'll kill you.
I'm not here to say what will or won't happen because, quite frankly, I have no affiliation with the thing.
Well, we haven't given it sacrifice, so it's going to find a sacrifice. And if you're in that area, you're probably going to be, the sacrifice is what we're trying to get at.
I don't know if you noticed when you first came to town, there was
A barrier.
funerary proceedings underway because of said Thornhead demon.
Mm-hmm.
The demon did that.
No. It's a long story. Let me just save you the retelling. The point is, regionally, it is a concern. And so, in the interest of being affiliated with your hosts and being, or wanting to be a good host, I figure fair warning is in order. Provided, of course, we're good to have that conversation without starting something more serious. And I'll look at the two Psystalkers.
They both just raise their glass to you and take a sip of their beer.
The other incident I should warn you about, which is what has gotten my attention with, the half-man inside, we came across two rhino buffalo. But they were unlike any other rhino buffalo I've seen, in that they were robotic and spoke. They were advanced in a way that I've not come across aside from your friend. This is why I'm curious to talk to him, because something those rhino buffaloes said, but before they unceremoniously exploded in my face, makes me think that they're not the only manifestation of that particular issue. Now, again, we're in a town of very nice people. I'm happy enough to lend a hand where I can. I mean, as your Psystalker friends will probably tell you, I have certain capacities that make me useful.
And they both kind of look at each other and nod. Him
But-
too. They point over at the ley line walker.
Mm-hmm. But without a good understanding, it's hard to really make an impact. So I'm not interested in disrupting your operation. I'm not here to run a narrative on how you run things. Frankly, it's little or none of my business. I've taken in the sights, had some food, and had an otherwise lovely time. But
Well, let me get something straight. You saw those robot rhino buffalo off in that direction. He points in the direction that you pointed of the...
and I'll
Thornhead.
point with him so he knows. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know what that would have to do with old Jamie. See, we found him pretty much in the state you saw him in there.
Again,
Oh.
I'm just looking at the level of technology. You've got to, like, for my experience, he's far and away beyond anything I've seen.
Well, same here. I mean, I've seen some pretty awful things in my years as a mercenary, and I can say I never seen nothing like him. And I don't know shit about cybernetics other than how to use my arms. But I do know that he ain't nothing like the Coalition, what they've got. And
And I would say
Nobody
exactly
else.
the same thing about these rhinos. Again, I'm not looking to stir anything up. I'm not looking to be an imposition. Much like right now, I'm looking to have words.
well, I think old Jamie's alive, though. As far as I'm concerned, he shouldn't be. But I don't know, and I don't know what's keeping him alive. And I'm not sure if he was ever even human, but I don't know if he's some sort of DB cyborg or what. When we found him over past the eastern wall, and we tried to patch him up, and he's been bunking with us ever since. About a year now.
Well, in all my dealings with rhino buffalo, I've never been threatened by one in American. So,
Well,
I mean, the world is a strange place in these parts, it seems.
yeah. Yeah. Now, he does claim to know some things, though. This machine man we got here. First, he didn't do a lot of talking, but yeah, hear him tell it he's some kind of god. Claims to know
I
about...
did hear him say that. Yeah.
Yeah, claims to know about some sort of underground bunker filled with all sorts of high-tech shit.
Well, that was before they detonated. They gave a warning along the lines of, "This is only the beginning, just you wait." Which
Well.
means, unless they're just scaring for the sake of being scary, trying to get out of their eventual demise, there could be more.
Well, I don't know. Jamie's nuts. I mean, he's
Well.
certified big-time crazy. Hell, you'd have to be seeing how he was torn up like that. I know that'd unsettle me. Look, and he finishes his beer, sets it down. Me and the boys here, he points to the two Psystalkers, we've kind of left our adventuring days behind us, so we're going to steer clear of that direction of your rhino buffalo. We're just going to head south after this place. Jamie's a freak, and I'm not going to let you guys rile him up with any more conversation, even if your intentions are good. Like the man said before, boys, show's over. We're going to get back to work.
Well, here's my question to you then. If you're running a free and fair show, as you've said, and Jamie is a man, as you've said, shouldn't this fall to his discretion as to whether or not he wants to have this conversation?
And as you say that, there is a fear-filled shriek that leaps up outside of the tent from one of the patrons. And you can hear the hiss of laser fire snapping through the air as more screams and commotion come. Old Jack stands up, says, "Shit, now what?" And he grabs his hat, puts it on his head, and starts running out the doors.
Yeah, he's going to have to follow me. I'm already moving.
All right. What are you doing there, Portland?
Oh, I'm just gonna sigh and be like, "Well, it was a good show,"
So full of cider.
and then I'm just gonna go invisible.
You cast a spell on yourself? All right.
Yeah, and just go.
Ah, Jesus.
What?
I cast Glitter Boy. Yeah, perfect solution. Once again, Discord shout out.
All right. Sir Luc, Lex, you guys hear this scream as well. And see the flashes of light from where you are.
Should we see what's causing it?
If you take a look over in that way, and as Senate, you and Portland head out, what you notice are a pair of unusual gray-green robots that stand near a smoking hover truck they just blasted. The truck is still burning as well, which is what you guys first see peering through the smoke. You see these two things kind of walk through the smoke. They are armed with laser rifles of a make you've never seen before. And for Portland and Senate, they speak in perfect American, very similar to how Ultron would speak. Their jaw doesn't move. It just, the sound comes from their mouth. They say, "We know he's here. We want the freak you call the Machine Man." One of the frightened spectators makes a dash toward the woods, only to be sliced in half by the laser blast of the second robot. And with that, we will call it for this session. Thank you for putting up with our good stew and evil stew. I'm Magnum Pie. I'm here with Teku, Golgotha, Vahilo, and Dark Templar. And we are Initiative Zero.